If you've ever walked through an art museum and felt completely overwhelmed or disconnected, you're not alone. Journalist Bianca Bosker felt the same way, so she set out to find out why. She spent years immersed in the New York art scene, working as a gallery assistant, even got a job as a security guard at the Guggenheim.
And she wrote about her experience in a new book, Get the Picture, a mind-bending journey among the inspired artists and obsessive art fiends who taught me how to see. And Bianca joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I think we all find art very cryptic, but why did you have to go sort of in disguise, so to speak, to figure it out?
Well, I am a journalist, so like you, like a lot of journalists, I do interviews, I read research reports, but I'm also a big believer in learning by doing. And I felt like the only way to get true answers to these fundamental questions at the core of our relationship with art was to get inside the nerve center of the art world, to see things for myself. I will tell you, it is one thing for a gallery owner to politely tell you how they sell a painting, and quite another to spend 8 hours a day on your feet schmoozing with millionaires and then, selling thousands of dollars worth of art from the backseat of an Uber during Miami Art Week while people around you, do drugs. So
Wow.
having experienced the latter, I will tell you, it is a very different kind of honesty and access that one gets. So yeah, I spent a number of years basically disowning my regular life to work as a studio assistant to artists, work with galleries, embed with collectors, and patrol museum wings as a security guard to try and figure out why does art matter and how do any of us engage with it more deeply.
What did you learn as a security guard? Did you just overhear conversations that you wouldn't have heard otherwise? Why the security guard route?
Yeah, a few different reasons. Part of it was, I really wanted to understand what happened in the sort of these places that so many people in the art world consider like the pinnacle of the art world. As part of my journey, I wanted to see, how does art go from being this germ of an idea in an artist's studio to this quote unquote masterpiece that we obsess over in museums. I feel like all those decisions that affect a work also affect us, right? Our idea of what art is, who makes it, why we should engage with it. And so museums are sort of viewed as the uppermost echelon of the art world. I wanted to know what happened behind the scenes. I also wanted to see if I could be a warm welcome to people that, like me, may have felt befuddled by the art. And finally, I wanted to know what would being around art for hours on end with no ability for escape, how would that change my own experience of art? And I can tell you, it changed it a lot. Before that, the only time I'd spent 40 minutes at a time staring at a single artwork was never. It took the threat of getting fired and countless security cameras to keep me from pulling out my phone. But I did find that, when you stay with the work, when you immerse yourself with it, very interesting things happen.
All right, so I can maybe get a Monet and the lily pad and the bridge, but if you're looking at a painting of a giant red dot or something like that, how much of that is BS? How much of it is like artistic snobbery, or how much of it is like legitimate?
Yeah, well, those were my questions as well. And I think what I would tell people is, for one thing, I think that for the last 100 years or so, we've been told that what really matters about an artwork is the idea behind it. The thought trumps the thing. And yet I had this real epiphany when I started working with artists in their studios, which is, making art is a blistery business. I mean, it's practically athletic. And I think that all this kind of hushed murmuring about postmodernism and historicity that goes on in galleries and museums doesn't really allow for that, or sort of reveal the way that art is constant decision making by an artist. And so what I would say is, working with artists really transformed how I looked at art. It helped me learn to savor art like an artist. And that meant slowing down, meant paying attention to the physical form of the piece and examining the decisions that an artist made. So when you're confronted with that kind of an artwork, I would suggest a few things. One is just try and notice 5 things in the piece. This was a piece of advice given to me by an artist, actually. And, those things don't have to be grandiose. It does not have to be, this artwork is a commentary on feminism in the post-internet age. It could just be, that red makes me want to lick it, like that edge of the painting doesn't look quite finished. And I think that following the decisions that an artist made are really a pathway into the piece. For me, after working in artist studios, when I returned to museums as a viewer, as a security guard, for the first time in my life, I ignored the wall labels, the sort of paragraph-long text that you see next to a lot of
Why is
artworks.
that?
Well, I think that first of all, in my experience, that those wall labels tend to be written in art speak, which is this overly complex way of speaking, where the bigger the word, the better. Basically, people write like they're trapped in dictionaries and trying to chew their way out. So I think to me, a lot of those are like the world's hardest reading comprehension exam. And I also think that the wall labels, as an artist described it to me, it's like you're trying to have a conversation with the work, but someone keeps interrupting. They sort of suggest there's one right answer. So I would suggest to viewers that feel a little bit disoriented by the art they see, try and just stay in the work. Notice 5 things, pay attention to decisions, and slow down. There's a study that shows that we spend 4 times longer reading the wall text than looking at the art itself. 8 seconds versus 2. So things change. Challenge yourself to spend 5 minutes at a piece, maybe even 50 minutes. There are works that I, as a guard, spent 40 minutes around for weeks, and I kept discovering something new.
Well, thank you so much. The book is Get the Picture, and you can find more at Bianca's website and follow her on social media. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Hey, Mike.